Archangel Michael says, there are moments in life when silence becomes heavy, when the weight of unseen forces presses against your heart, and when the truth stands at the edge of revelation. Tonight is such a moment. This announcement will shock you, and it carries a vibration that is unlike anything you have felt before. The atmosphere around you has already begun to shift, even before these words reach your mind. Energy that has been hidden is moving closer, aligning itself with your last step. The reason it is happening now is not chance but the unfolding of a precise design that has long been waiting to reveal itself. Archangel Michael says, you are standing on a threshold, and the door that is opening carries both light and fire. It is not a warning but a revelation that the choices you made have gathered power in unseen ways. What was once invisible is about to appear before you, and its arrival is tied directly to the last step you took without realizing its depth. There is no turning back, because the motion has already begun. The ripple you created has become a wave, and the wave has now turned into a force that cannot be stopped. What you thought was small is the very reason a powerful announcement is arriving at this exact hour. Type Amen 333 to anchor the blessing into your path. The message is not carried by fear but by clarity. You have been watched over, and every action has been observed in silence, not as judgment but as preparation. The moment your last step was made, a seal was broken, and now a current of events is rushing toward you with intensity. You may feel the vibration in your body already. It shows up as restlessness, as heightened awareness, as the sense that something massive is hovering just out of reach. That is because the moment has arrived for what was hidden to step forward, and this is the exact reason you were guided here to hear these words. Archangel Michael says, the unseen has been preparing you through challenges, through whispers, and through signs that may have seemed random. They were not random. They were precise signals, guiding you closer to this announcement that will shake the ground beneath you and realign the very energy surrounding your path. The reason it is happening now is because you are ready, even if your mind does not believe it yet. The last step you took was not just movement but a key turning in a lock. That key has opened a door, and what is coming through it will reshape everything you thought you knew about your journey. Type Amen 444 to claim the blessing being released at this stage. This message carries suspense because the truth is greater than you expect. The force that is about to enter your life is not light or shadow alone but a union of both, creating transformation that cannot be undone. The announcement is not a whisper but a wave, and it will move through every part of your life with undeniable presence. The energy of your last step has created alignment between your soul and forces beyond your understanding. This is why it is happening now, not later, not earlier, but at this precise moment. Time has been woven together, and the weave is tightening into form. Each moment you breathe, the air around you grows heavier with this truth. It is not to frighten you but to prepare you, because the force of what is arriving will demand your awareness. It is the unfolding of destiny in a way that no silence can resist, no delay can hold back. Archangel Michael says, you have called this into being with your very presence. The step you made aligned with the greater design, and now the design is revealing itself in full. That is why the announcement is here, and that is why it carries shock, because you did not see how quickly it would arrive. Type Amen 555 to seal the divine shift moving into your life. Archangel Michael says, there are forces in motion that you cannot see with your eyes but you can feel in the vibration of your soul. The silence around you is not empty, it is filled with signals that are moving toward revelation. This announcement will shock you because it carries weight beyond human understanding. Your last step has opened a sequence that has been waiting for alignment. It was not just a physical move, it was a spiritual mark, a declaration to the unseen that you were ready. That is why the timing is now, why the unfolding could no longer be delayed. The energy is rushing toward you like a current that cannot be turned back. Every sound you hear tonight, every flicker of awareness, is connected to the message that is arriving. It will not come in whispers but in a surge that you cannot ignore. Archangel Michael says, "You are about to step into knowledge that was hidden, locked, and sealed until this precise hour. You were not meant to know it before because you had not yet taken that final step. But now the path is open, and the truth will unfold." Type Amen 333 to anchor the blessing into your spirit. The shock of this announcement is not meant to harm you but to awaken you. It will feel like a jolt of electricity moving through your life, shaking loose what was heavy, bringing forward what was waiting. Every barrier that stood before you will tremble under the force of this revelation. The last step you took was the signal that allowed this to happen. It may have seemed small, but in the realm beyond the visible it was a thunderclap. That thunder was heard, and now the answer is echoing back to you. The atmosphere carries a thickness that makes it undeniable. Energy has shifted around you, as though the air is no longer the same. This is the signature of something massive moving closer with every passing moment. Archangel Michael says, "Do not resist the unfolding because resistance will only make the shock sharper. Instead, allow the current to carry you, because the announcement is tied to your growth. What is arriving will not pass by, it will stay and change everything." Type Amen 444 to accept the blessing in this moment. This revelation was designed long before you even knew of it. Timelines have been weaving together, converging, and waiting for the key. That key was your last step, and the instant it turned, everything aligned into form. The shock comes from the speed and intensity of what is arriving. It is not creeping, it is racing, rushing, surging with power. That power is greater than fear, greater than hesitation, greater than the doubts you once carried. The reason it is happening now is because delay would break the design. The forces that surround you know the time is perfect, the sequence is complete. You were brought here to be a witness to it. Archangel Michael says, "Every choice you made has built a ladder to this very hour." Some steps were heavy, some were light, but all of them were required. The last one was the trigger, the final lock undone, and now the announcement is free to move. Type Amen 111 to draw the blessing closer into your reality. The vibration of this message has already entered your field. You can sense it as restlessness, as heightened awareness, as the feeling that something is about to break open. That sensation is confirmation that you are aligned with this hour. You have been guided by signs, whispers, and impressions that seemed random. They were not random, they were threads pulling you closer to the unveiling. Now that unveiling is in motion, unstoppable, undeniable, unshakable. This is why it had to be now, not later. If it had come before, you would not have been ready. If it had come later, the design would have broken its rhythm. Archangel Michael says, "The shock is not to destroy you but to elevate you." It is the kind of shock that clears the ground, removes the shadows, and forces truth into the open. That is what your path has called forth. Type Amen 222 to accept the unfolding light. The announcement carries weight like thunder in the distance. You may not yet hear it fully, but the ground beneath you already feels the vibration. The closer it comes, the stronger the trembling will be. Your last step carried courage that you did not even recognize in yourself. That courage has summoned this moment, called it forward, demanded that it reveal itself. That is why the timing is exact and cannot be denied. The shock will be in how quickly it overtakes the silence. One moment's stillness, the next a wave so powerful it sweeps through every layer of your being. That is how revelations arrive, suddenly, without hesitation. Archangel Michael says, "This is your crossing point." Once the announcement comes, you will not return to what was before. You will only move forward, because the force of revelation pushes in one direction. Type Amen 555 to anchor this next phase of blessing. Archangel Michael says, "The air is thick with the weight of destiny, and even as you read these words, the current grows stronger. You may not yet see it with your eyes, but your spirit already knows that something extraordinary is pressing against the edges of your world. This announcement is not far away, it is already here, moving toward you with unstoppable force. The last step you took was more than motion, more than choice. It was a key turning in a lock that had been sealed for too long. When that lock gave way, the sound echoed across realms, and what was waiting was released. The reason this is happening now is because there is no longer anything blocking the flow. All obstacles that once held it back have crumbled. What remains is the pure energy of revelation, surging through time to reach you. Archangel Michael says, "This is why you feel the intensity growing inside your chest, the restlessness that refuses to quiet. It is not random, it is the echo of what is rushing closer with every heartbeat. You were destined to stand here at this hour and receive what is coming." Type Amen 777 to call the blessing deeper into your spirit. The shock will not come from darkness but from the sheer power of truth. When it arrives, it will slice through illusions like lightning tearing open the sky. You will no longer question what is real, because the force of revelation will make it undeniable. Your last step was the signal that you were ready. That readiness was not about perfection but about alignment. The moment your foot touched that path, the unseen responded instantly, as if it had been waiting all along. This is why the timing cannot be questioned. It is not coincidence that this happens now, it is the completion of design. Every piece has fallen into place, and the final piece was yours. Archangel Michael says, "The unfolding is already around you, shaping the days ahead before you even step into them." You may feel the atmosphere is different, as if the air itself vibrates with unseen sound. That is because the announcement is alive and in motion. Type Amen 999 to receive the flowing energy of transformation. This revelation is not a whisper, it is a wave. When it enters, it will sweep through your life, touching every space, every connection, every hidden place. Nothing will remain untouched by its current. The shock comes not from fear but from speed. What you thought would take years will arrive in moments. What you thought was distant is suddenly standing beside you. The last step you took carried more weight than you imagined. It was not just action but activation, not just movement but ignition. That ignition is why everything is burning into form right now. Archangel Michael says, "Do not shrink back from this. The blessing is not small, it is vast, and it is meant for you. That is why it has found you in this exact hour." Type Amen 1111 to lock this blessing into your path. You are walking into a space where the unseen becomes seen. The boundaries between silence and sound, shadow and light, hidden and revealed are dissolving. That dissolving is what allows the announcement to step forward. Your spirit already senses what is coming. That pressure in your chest, that fire in your thoughts, that electricity on your skin, it is confirmation. It is the evidence that the veil is already lifting. The shock is not the announcement itself but how fully it changes you. Once revealed, you will never look at your path the same way again. Every step after will carry the imprint of this revelation. Archangel Michael says, your destiny is unfolding at a pace no one can stop. Forces larger than time have chosen now, and nothing can reverse the momentum. This is why the message strikes with such force. Type Amen 1212 to seal this stage of divine unfolding. The reason this announcement carries weight is because it is connected to your journey in ways you did not see. Every choice you made, every moment of silence, every act of courage prepared the ground. That ground is shaking now because the seed has broken open. The last step was not isolated. It was the final push that sent ripples across all directions. Those ripples are now converging, and their meeting point is here, in this very moment. This is why the announcement is unstoppable. It is not just about you, it is about everything connected to you. When it arrives, it will affect not only your path but also the paths linked to yours. Archangel Michael says, stand firm in the flow of what is coming. Do not allow fear to block the river, because fear cannot hold back this kind of power. Only acceptance will allow you to rise with it. Type Amen 1313 to embrace the shift entering your life. The shock will strike like lightning, bright and undeniable. It will burn away the shadows that lingered and reveal what was hidden in plain sight. That revelation will be your turning point. The last step you made was the signal flare, the light that summoned the unseen to act. It could not be ignored, and so the movement began. Now the force is here, and it demands to be felt. The timing is perfect because delay would break the design. Every element has aligned to make this hour exact. It is not later, it is not earlier, it is now. Archangel Michael says, the power of destiny cannot be bargained with. It arrives when the moment is ripe, and now it has ripened fully. The announcement has stepped forward, and it will not retreat. Type Amen 1414 to confirm your acceptance of this revelation. Archangel Michael says, the current is no longer waiting at a distance. It has crossed the boundary and is now flowing directly into your field. This is why your spirit feels the pressure, because the weight of destiny has entered the room with you. The last step you took was the call that opened the floodgate. That gate had been sealed for so long that the moment it broke, the rush could not be contained. The sound of that opening still echoes across unseen dimensions. This announcement will shock you because it arrives without hesitation, without warning. It breaks into your life like thunder cracks the silence of a still night. That thunder cannot be silenced, and it will demand your attention. Archangel Michael says, what is happening is not ordinary movement. It is the arrival of something written long before this moment, something designed to awaken you fully. That is why the atmosphere feels so alive with energy now. Type Amen 1515 to step deeper into the blessing unfolding before you. The reason this announcement comes with such intensity is because it carries layers of meaning. It is not just one message, but many threads woven together into a single moment. That moment is here, pressing into your awareness. Your last step was the exact action that aligned every thread. Without that step, the weaving would remain incomplete. But with it, the pattern was finished, and the truth was released into motion. This is why the air feels thick, heavy, alive. The invisible has become visible, even if only in sensation. That sensation is proof of the force now surrounding you. Archangel Michael says, "Do not be surprised when your dreams shift, when your days feel unusual, when your inner fire grows hotter. These are signs that the announcement is merging into every part of your being. It is not outside of you, it is within you." Type Amen 1616 to claim the fire of this revelation. The shock will move through you in waves, first subtle, then overwhelming. At first it will feel like a whisper in the air, but then it will roar with undeniable clarity. When it does, you will see what has always been waiting for you. The last step you made was the turning point that could not be undone. Once it happened, the sequence began to unfold. Every ripple of that step has reached the shore of this very moment. The reason it is happening now is because the timing is exact. It was designed to arrive in your life at this point, not earlier, not later. The hour has ripened fully, and now the fruit is ready to fall into your hands. Archangel Michael says, "This is why you feel restless, why the silence feels louder, why your chest feels heavier with unseen energy. These are not random sensations, they are signals of what is already here. The announcement is breathing down your path." Type Amen 1717 to seal the divine energy into your journey. The power of this revelation will not be subtle. It will strike with clarity, forcing you to stand in the light of its truth. You cannot look away once it arrives, because its presence will be too strong to ignore. Your last step was not just a mark on your journey, it was the anchor point for destiny itself. That anchor has locked into the ground, and now the entire weight of revelation rests upon it. That is why the shock is inevitable. The moment it unfolds, you will feel as if the ground beneath you shifts. That shift is not destruction but transformation. Everything that once felt stuck will move. Archangel Michael says, "This announcement carries the vibration of awakening." It is not gentle, but it is necessary. It will break the silence and make you rise. Type Amen 1818 to open yourself to the transformation already moving toward you. The energy has already begun rearranging your path. You may notice patterns collapsing, doors opening, connections shifting. These are the first waves of the announcement moving through your life. The shock comes because it feels sudden, yet it was building for a long time. What felt hidden in the shadows was actually preparing behind the curtain. Now the curtain is pulled aside, and everything is revealed. Your last step carried the spark that set all this into motion. Without that spark, the silence would have remained. With it, the silence has become fire. Archangel Michael says, "The fire will not burn you, it will refine you. It will strip away what is no longer needed and leave behind the strength of your true design." That is why you were guided here at this exact moment. Type Amen 1919 to hold the fire as blessing instead of fear. The announcement you are stepping into is more than words, it is an experience. It will fill the atmosphere, shake the unseen, and touch every thread of your journey. Nothing will remain untouched once it has passed. The shock will come from its speed. What once felt distant is suddenly standing at your door, demanding to be acknowledged. That arrival is what changes everything. The reason it is happening now is because your path has reached alignment. The past steps prepared the way, and the final one completed the circuit. That circuit has released the current, and it is flowing freely. Archangel Michael says, every moment of doubt, every delay, every struggle has led to this point. They were not wasted, they were necessary. They were the shaping forces that made you ready. Type Amen 2020 to honor the preparation behind this unfolding. The current of this announcement grows heavier with every breath you take. It is not waiting for tomorrow, it is pressing now. That pressure is the evidence that the unveiling has already begun. The shock will ripple through your mind, through your spirit, through your surroundings. It is not contained to one area, it spreads in all directions. That spread is the sign of its magnitude. The last step you took was a declaration. Without words, it said, I am ready. That readiness was heard, and the response is arriving. Archangel Michael says, do not fear the intensity. Fear only clouds the vision, but courage clears it. What you are stepping into requires clarity more than anything else. Type Amen 2121 to receive the courage of clarity. Archangel Michael says, the veil between what was hidden and what is being revealed is now dissolving. You have stepped into a space where the unseen is pressing forward with unstoppable force. This announcement is not a rumor, not a whisper, but a surge that demands recognition. The last step you took created the opening that allowed this force to break through. That single movement set off a chain reaction, an echo that shook the unseen realms. Now the results of that step are arriving in full, and they cannot be reversed. The shock will strike not because you are unprepared, but because it will be larger than your expectations. You have been sensing pieces of this, but the whole is greater than the parts. That whole is now moving into form with unstoppable clarity. Archangel Michael says, your spirit is already adjusting to what is coming. That restlessness you feel is alignment, the stirring of your energy field preparing for the impact. What was once dormant inside you is awakening now. Type Amen 2222 to embrace the awakening energy. The announcement carries a weight that bends the atmosphere. You may feel it as chills, as pressure, as electricity across your skin. Those sensations are not imagination, they are the signs of destiny unfolding. Your last step was not a mistake, not random. It was precise, exact, necessary. That is why the moment could not be delayed further. The timing is perfect because the alignment is perfect. All threads of your path have converged into this single hour. That convergence has given birth to what is now arriving. Archangel Michael says, you are standing in the center of a shift that was always written. The ground beneath you is steady, even if it feels like it is trembling. Trust the stability that holds you as the current flows. Type Amen 2323 to stand firm within this unfolding. The shock of revelation will spread through your days like fire through dry fields. It will move quickly, unstoppable, consuming what no longer belongs, illuminating what must remain. That is how the truth makes itself known. Your last step was the invitation, the spark, the ignition. Without that spark, the fire would not burn. With it, the fire spreads across everything. The reason it happens now is because silence could no longer hold it. The waiting has ended, the preparation has been completed, and the announcement is free. That freedom is what makes it powerful. Archangel Michael says, "Do not cling to the old when the new is arriving. What is meant to remain will remain, and what is meant to fall away will fall away. Trust the process of the fire as it refines you." Type Amen 2424 to receive refinement as blessing. The atmosphere is charged with anticipation. Even the smallest details around you may feel different, as if the world itself is vibrating. That vibration is the announcement already weaving through reality. The shock will be in its fullness. Nothing will be half shown, half revealed. It will arrive whole, and it will arrive suddenly. The last step you took carried an unseen power. It was the crossing point that declared, "Now is the time." That declaration was heard by forces greater than you. Archangel Michael says, those forces are now at work, surrounding you, guiding you, aligning you. They are not against you, they are for you. That is why this revelation is filled with blessing. Type Amen 2525 to welcome the forces of alignment. The announcement is not small, it is vast. It stretches across your past, your present, and your future all at once. That is why you will feel its impact in every direction. The shock is not meant to break you but to awaken you. The jolt will push you out of what was stagnant and into movement. Movement that cannot be undone. Your last step was the final piece needed to complete the circuit. That completion released the energy that had been stored, waiting, building. Now it flows without barrier. Archangel Michael says, your readiness is greater than you think. Even if your mind feels doubt, your spirit knows the truth. That is why the hour has come now, not later. Type Amen 2626 to claim the strength of readiness. The energy moving toward you will not arrive quietly. It will strike with presence, with vibration, with sound that seems to move through your very bones. That is how destiny arrives, with force and clarity. The shock is part of its gift. It makes you pay attention, makes you rise, makes you shift. Without it, you would overlook the magnitude of what is happening. The reason this moment is powerful is because it is not only about you. It is about everything connected to you, every path that touches yours, every thread woven into your story. The impact will spread far beyond. Archangel Michael says, this is why you have felt the pull of something larger than yourself. You are not alone in this unfolding, you are part of a greater tapestry. That tapestry is now being revealed. Type Amen 2727 to acknowledge the tapestry you belong to. The last step you took unlocked not only your door but the doors of those around you. What you carry is not isolated, it spreads. The spread is part of the blessing. The shock is that you will see how connected it all is. What seemed separate will suddenly reveal itself as one. That oneness is the heart of the announcement. This moment is not random. It is aligned perfectly with cycles you cannot see. The rhythms of time, the movements of spirit, the patterns of destiny have converged. That convergence is why this hour cannot be denied. Archangel Michael says, the truth of connection will lift you higher than fear ever could. Fear divides, but revelation unites. That unity is already moving into your life. Type Amen 2828 to welcome unity as your strength. The announcement moves like a storm rolling across the horizon. First you see the sky shift, then you hear the distant rumble, then suddenly it is upon you. That sudden arrival is the nature of revelation. Your last step was the call that drew the storm near. Without it, the sky would have remained quiet. With it, the storm began to move. The shock will not destroy, it will cleanse. The winds will carry away the weight of the old, and the rains will nourish the ground for what is new. That cleansing is the hidden blessing. Archangel Michael says, "The storm is not against you. It is for you. Stand in its center, and you will see that you are protected even as the winds roar." That protection has always been with you. Type Amen 2929 to stand protected in the center of the storm.